Ludus, Vulpes.
Welcome to Ludus Vulpes. My name's Kirsty.
And I'm Phil.
You join us as we run through our initial thoughts of the Whatnot Cabinet.
Have you ever wanted to wander through the countryside, finding curious items that you're going to store in a cabinet and display for your friends? In fairness, probably not. But if that is something you're interested in, the Whatnot Cabinet might just be the game for you. Let's go through a quick run through of setup, and then we'll come back and talk about our initial thoughts of the Whatnot Cabinet.
Taking the journey board from the box and placing it in the centre of the table, each player will then receive their own cabinet with a rug underneath the cabinet of the chosen player colour. In a two-player game, each player receives 2 pawns. 3 and 4 player games will only be 1 pawn. Provide each player with a quick reference sheet and then take the curiosity cards, shuffle them and deal 5 face up, which will be additional objectives for the game for point scoring purposes. You'll then take the wonder cards, which will define which of the curiosities are going to be extra points worthy this particular game. Finally, you'll put the points tokens out in a handy pile and convenient for everyone, and then gain the curiosity tiles and the Whatnot Cabinet bag. In a 2-player game, you're going to remove anything with a small flower icon at the bottom of it, put those tiles back in the bag, and then underneath the journey board you're going to deal 4 face-up tiles which act as the outside. Any special tiles put to one side and re-deal. The special tiles go back in the bag, and you're now ready to play Whatnot Cabinet.
So, now you've seen the setup and how simple it is to set the Whatnot Cabinet up, let's run through some very essential basic rules and initial thoughts.
When you're setting the Whatnot Cabinet, you'll be taking various actions from this board to always place 2 tiles into your cabinet, which means over a 2-player game you're playing with 2 pawns, and you're going to be playing over 3 rounds, that many rounds. In a 3 to 4 player game you'll be playing over 6 rounds, so the length of the game will vary, but the game is not particularly long. If you catch our playthrough video of that, you'll see that for yourselves. You're also going to take out these objective cards. These can be earned by the first player to meet the requirements on them. And then this wonder card is the item, the most desirable type of items that are out in the forest to collect. And in this particular game, it's going to be leaves. Are going to score you an extra victory point for every leaf you have in your Whatnot cabinets at the end of the game.
Okay.
So during the game, in a 2-player game, the first player will go here and here, and the second player will go here and here. And all you're going to be doing is picking one of these actions, which take various items, and then allow you to put 2 items in your cabinet. You're trying to create rows of objects and columns of colours fairly universally.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there'll be, I say, a more detailed rules description. There's not that many more rules to talk about on the playthrough video. However, what can we say about the Whatnot Cabinet as our first thoughts?
Okay, so my first thoughts of the Whatnot Cabinet are, it's a beautiful little game. It's very tranquil, it's very calming. It doesn't feel like if you were collecting blues and I was to take this blue, it doesn't feel like it's done in a harsh way. It's just, don't worry, it's alright, I'll just pick some more out the bag.
Yeah.
It feels a very relaxed game to play. We've obviously only played it as 2 players at present, and it is a very, very quick and easy game to play. The artwork is stunning. It's beautiful, and the choice of colours I think are really, it's not just your normal primary colours, the red, yellow, blues,
yeah, I mean the
green.
The illustrator's Beth Sobel, who also worked on Wingspan, so you can see that kind of quality, sort of naturalist art coming through. It's beautiful.
For me, due to the past jobs that I've had and working in a nursery nurse, there is an element of being taken back to your childhood with this game. It's almost like set collection, working with the children, right, where are all the shells? You find me the shells. It's that kind of, it takes you back to a simplicity of life for me that when there's no worries, there's no stress, it's just a really nice, peaceful, colourful, beautiful, relaxing game.
Yeah, I
can't really say much more than. I mean, the scoring sometimes is a bit. Oh, if I'd only I got that one, but it doesn't matter because everything looks so pretty in the cabinet.
And I think ultimately, when you do make mistakes, you make mistakes typically for yourself. It's infrequent that another player's actions really mess with your turn. So you end up in a really nice situation whereby you're playing your game, you see what other people are doing, and it's kind of okay. Nothing really impacts you massively in the game. Now this is a very lightweight game. It's very easy going, very easy paced. You're going to get through a game in about 20 minutes. It's not going to take long.
Yeah.
Setup's really quick, which is nice because for a 20-minute game you don't want a 10-minute setup. You can be set up and going in a few minutes.
And scoring probably takes the longest part.
And maybe the biggest difference there is if you're playing a 2-player game, it's whether or not you just chuck it. If you're playing the 3-4-player game, you throw in the extra tiles. It's fine.
Yeah.
As the game goes, it's very easy to learn, very easy to teach. It's not going to take you long to get people up and playing. So ultimately, it's a very nice game. There's not a huge amount of tactical depth to it. You're not, planning 100 moves ahead to try and get to a really clear end goal. You're not going to be doing anything massively clever in this game, so you're not going to be.
It's not taxing.
No, you're not going to be combining this shell with this vase to create a vase shell, and the vase shell scores you 100 points.
No,
that's not the game.
It's not going to happen.
The game is collect pretty things off the outside, which is this area of the board. Collect pretty things from the outside and put them in your cabinet. And at the end of the day, if your cabinet looks pretty defined by the rules.
Yeah.
If your cabinet looks pretty, you'll score some points, and a good score is about 30 points. So it's kind of something to achieve. But ultimately, it's a very casual, lightweight game. Most non-gamers will find this quite entertaining, quite easy to pick up, and quite straightforward. Don't sit down with your hardcore gaming friends who play 5-hour games and that's what they like to play. This is not going to be for them.
Maybe if it was a filler between, like if you're waiting for someone else to finish a game and you've got 20 minutes, or while others are having a quick bite to eat and you're not eating, it's a quick filler game.
It's a game to talk over as well.
Yeah.
Your turns come around fairly quickly, and chatting is kind of because like I say, there's no the tactics aren't harsh.
No.
You're not having to plan excessively in advance. So fundamentally, you can have a chat, see how people are going on. Maybe a nice one to sort of ease you into a games evening, just while you catch up with your friends whilst you're still playing something on the table.
One thing I do also like, which I forgot to mention in this game, is most games where they're trying to dictate your choice of player colour is there's a little disc maybe that you'll hold somewhere on your board to dictate that that's your colour. With this one, what they've done is they've built in an ornate rug at the bottom of each cabinet, and I think that's just a nice little touch. It's there, it's subtle.
Yeah,
and if that's not enough for you, the colour is actually on the back.
Yeah.
So.
In fairness, they could have just created a 3x4 grid and not bothered with the map, but it's a cabinet, so they've created a cabinet. I want to know where my glass front is because I don't want to damage these things.
Breakables.
Okay. And some of the item choices are interesting because some of the items are animals, and yes, you might find animals outside, but I'm not sure how easy it will be to pick up a cat and put it in your cabinet.
But
or an elephant,
statues?
Or an elephant for that matter.
Yes, that's true actually. An elephant is the same size as a shell.
And if they are statues, which I suspect they actually are statues, if they are statues of cats and elephants, why are people leaving them outside? I don't know.
Maybe you found them in an abandoned garden. Like a national trust.
For those of you who love searching abandoned gardens for curious little objects, the Whatnot Cabinet might well be for you. It's not going to take up an awful lot of your time, but you're probably going to be smiling while you play it.
Yes. So, if you've enjoyed this video, give us a subscribe, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, comment if you've had an experience of this game. How was your gameplay? Was it your game? Was it someone else's? What are your thoughts, basically, is what we'd like to know.
You can do that as well.
Okay. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Just search for Ludus Vulpes.
Thank you for your time today.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.